to the new and improved Remo Show. Let's get it, let's go. Yuddy, y'all. It's your boy Remo. Y'all ready to laugh today? Yeah, man. Yeah, sorry I've been out of touch. I've been working like a Hebrew slave, as my uncle used to say. Yeah, I've been working like 6 days a week, y'all. And I've been putting in overtime. I've been getting I've been over 60 hours a week. Getting ready to go to Nashville in about another 7 or 8 days. And I'm going to take y'all with me. We're going to go to Jefferson Street. We're going to go to Ooh Wee Barbecue. And where else we going? We might go to the Grand Ole Opry. And I'm going to take y'all to Loveless Cafe. They're supposed to have the world's greatest biscuits. We'll see. But anyway, in the meantime, in between time, and at the scene of the crime, I want to tell y'all about this tenant that I had that looked just like the P-star Tina Fire. Y'all remember Tina Fire with the big, huge knockers? This chick looked just like her. My girl said she looked like a motherfucking cricket. And then I looked, I was like, yeah, damn, she do look like a cricket. And then I looked at Tina Fire, I was like, damn, she kind of looked like a cricket too. My girl used to say, yeah, the tenant looked like Jiminy Cricket. That's what she used to call her, Jiminy Cricket. Y'all remember Jiminy Cricket? They used to come on Saturday morning after all the cartoons go off, before Soul Train came on, Jiminy Cricket. Whatever the fuck. The bitch did look like a motherfucking cricket. But yeah, when we moved her in, when she moved in, everything was copacetic. You know, she had her first and last month's rent. You know, she had a good head on her shoulders, just like everybody else. Everybody cool. They put on the front just to get into your shit, just to move in. You know what I mean? A lot of them be desperate. A lot of our tenants be on the brink of homelessness. They be on the edge of homelessness. Then when you finally say, yeah, they can move in, you know, they put on this front. They put on this this ego. They alter ego. This chick. And it was obvious she was fronting. I mean, most of them, you could tell that they just fronting. You know, a lot of them try to switch up the way they talk and they be messing up. You know what I mean? It was crazy, but yeah, this chick claimed to be a boxer, an amateur boxer, because I asked what did she do for a living. She said she worked in bookkeeping and she was an amateur boxer. And I'm looking at the bitch, I'm like, damn, you don't look like no boxer. I used to box, and she wasn't built like no boxer, but I was thinking maybe she was practicing. You know how they got exercise programs where females could do Taibo boxing. Or they could do self-defense classes. That's what I thought she was doing. But she kept saying she was an amateur boxer. I was like, okay, whatever. I ain't think nothing of it. So about a month later, I got off work late one night. I was working the second shift, 3 to 11. So I got home about like 11:30. And I looked over on her side and I noticed there were keys in her door. I'm like, damn, this bitch forgot to get her keys. You know, the keys was in her door. I'm like, damn, okay. So I went over and got them, and I knocked on her door and rung the doorbell. She answered the door in a robe, and she had on a bonnet. And I was like, yo, you left your key, you left your keys in the door. She was like, oh, thank you. And then she was about to slam the door. I was like, yo, just be careful next time because, you know, she had a son. She had like a 5-year-old son, and she was in her mid-20s, by the way, 27, 28, something like that. She had a son, and I was like, you know, you don't want nobody to just be able to walk into your house, or you don't want nobody to take your keys out, then come back later and rob you blind. And then she was like, you being mad petty. I was like, excuse me? She said, you being oh so petty. I said, petty about what? She was like, you just being petty. And I was like, telling you that somebody could rob you blind, that's being petty after you left your goddamn keys in the door? I said, you being petty and irresponsible. She was like, oh my goodness, now you really pushing the envelope. She was like, didn't I tell you I used to box? I was like, I used to box too. Well, what the fuck you gonna do? Like, what? I was like, yo, you're welcome. And then she slammed the door in my face. So I went and told my wife. I was like, guess what this ignorant bitch said? And I told my wife what she did and what she said. And then my wife was like, fuck that Jiminy Cricket looking bitch. So, but that shit had pissed me off. Here I am trying to be a good Samaritan, and you being unappreciative. You know what I mean? You giving me your ass to kiss. I don't like that kind of shit. That's disrespectful. You know what I mean? And then I said to myself, next time, I'm going to leave the shits in the door. Yeah, and it's a lot of badass kids in our neighborhood, too. Badass teenagers. You know, they would have took them keys and, like I said, came back and robbed their ass blind. She talking about some, oh, didn't I tell you I used to box? So what? Shit. What the fuck? So, I never interacted with her after that. You know, she would call me, she would text me and ask me can I fix this and that? Yeah, okay, I'll send somebody. You know what? I used to pay other people to go deal with her because I didn't want no parts of her. You know what I mean? She was disrespectful and rude. You know, so one day, after like 2 months after that incident, one day I get up to go to the bathroom. It was like 5 o'clock in the fucking morning, and I hear it was like a rhythm. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm sitting on the toilet like, what the fuck? First I thought somebody was fucking. Then, you know, I kept hearing it again. So I get up, look out the window. It's her and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend had on some boxing mitts, and she was hitting him like, but she was awkward. You know what I mean? Like her stance was just awkward. And I'm like, this chick, a amateur boxer? Whatever. So I'm looking out the window. She, I'm like, damn, okay. All right, whatever. So, yeah, shortly after that, I didn't see her for a while. And when I did see her, she would roll her eyes. She had a habit of rolling her eyes. She would always roll her fucking eyes, you know, on some disrespectful shit. So I was like, okay, all right, be like that. I couldn't wait for the bitch to slack up on her rent to give me an excuse to evict her old Jiminy Cricket looking ass. So, yeah, she eventually started slacking up on her rent. And I had sent her a text message saying, yo, you know, you late, I'm gonna have to charge you a late fee. So she responded with a text message cussing me out. You know, she was like, we supposed to be black. As they all say, we're all black. We supposed to be brothers and sisters. We supposed to look out for each other. It's always we supposed to look out for each other when the other person can't foot their end of the bill or something like that. You know? So I was like, fuck all that shit. Pay me my money or I'm gonna evict your goddamn ass. And so she sent me a 5-paragraph text message cussing me out and all the shit. She was telling me all the shit she was gonna do to me. She was calling me all types of names and shit. She didn't say nothing about my wife because she knew my wife would come down there and kick her ass. You know what I mean? So, you know, she all her negative messages was directed towards me. Like everything negative she had to say was directed towards me. So anyway, I didn't see her for a while again. And then, you know, one day I'm laying on the couch as usual. When I'm not working, I'm laying on the couch looking at Locked Up Abroad. Locked Up Abroad, that's one of my favorite shows. You know, I could binge watch that. So I'm laying on the couch looking at Locked Up Abroad, and I hear her keys. You know, I had the window open. I heard her keys. You know, I heard her walk up on the porch, and I heard her keys, and I heard her drop her keys. I'm like, oh, gosh. Did this bitch just drop her keys and go in the house? So I looked out the window, and I noticed it was her, but I couldn't really tell because she had on a fucking hoodie. She had on a hoodie like this. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, she trying to get into her apartment. So I opened up the door. I opened up my door and I looked, and it was her. She had a big ass fucking knot upside her head. I was like, damn! This bitch bitch had a big old fucking knot upside her head. I mean, her whole eye looked like it was about to fall out of her head, like Steve Harvey said. I was like,
I got punched in the eye and now I can't open it.
her shit was swollen. So I looked up. I was like, yo, you all right? She was like, yeah, I'm all right. Then she went in the house. I was like, damn. Come to find out, she had an amateur fight with this chick from Georgia, and the girl from Georgia beat the shit out of her. And I was like, good. And the footage is on YouTube. It's still on YouTube to this day. But I ain't going to post y'all the link because some of y'all be cyberbullying. And I'll, you know what I'm saying? That's a female. Now, if it was a dude, I'll post the link. But that's a female. And now she got 2 kids, and her kids is like, you know, older now. I don't want their mom, you know, being picked at because these kids got to go to school. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to get bullied. Some of y'all are cyber bullies, man. Damn. And then, make it so bad after that, this was during COVID season. So after that, I would see her with a mask on, and she had another, you know, she had a medical mask on her face, and she had another medical mask that she cut up to make an eye patch. So she had a medical mask here and an eye patch here, and she used to have on her hood. And she used to be walking up to me like, yeah, can you come over and fix this? Can you come over and change the light bulb? Yeah. Oh, I'm going to pay you next week. Yeah, I'm going to pay you. Don't worry. I'm going to pay you. I'm waiting on this check. All you see is one fucking eye. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you get, bitch. I ain't say that, but that's what I was thinking. See, you reap what you sow. Do right to others, and others will do right to you. So, and she had a car, and what got her fucked up was she sideswiped my neighbor's car. Why? Because her eye was fucked up. She couldn't see out of this eye, but she was still driving. She was driving like this here, and she sideswiped my neighbor's car trying to pull up in the driveway. So her and my neighbor fell out. Now my neighbor was he's a Marine, a Desert Storm vet or whatever. You know, he was over in Desert Storm in the 90s. So, you know, he didn't play that shit. White dude. Him and his wife, they both served. So, you know, they got on her ass about that, and they called the police, and I don't know if they sued or what, but they probably did. I don't know. I stayed out of their business. I didn't want to get involved. You know what I mean? So, yeah, she sideswiped their car, fucked it up real bad. I even took pictures of it. I was like, damn. So, yeah, she was fucking up. She went on a fuck up trip. She was just fucking up. At one point, I was calling her Mrs. Fuck Up. It's funny, but it's not funny. So she got so far behind on her rent, it was time to evict her ass. And her excuse was, "Oh, I gotta have surgery. Oh, I'm sorry for cussing you out." She was like, "But I gotta have surgery on my eye." She was like, "I might be blind in one eye." She was like, "Oh my goodness." I was like, now she was telling me this face to face. I mean, she started off telling me she was gonna have surgery, you know, through via text message. But you know, I would see her on my way to work sometimes, and that one time she was on the porch. "Oh, I might be blind, and I might have to walk with a blind stick." I'm like, damn. I said, "Are you gonna continue to box?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, damn. I said that's not a good idea. She was like, "But I'm trying to make it to the pros." I'm like, okay, whatever. And in my mind, I'm like, you're not gonna make it to the pros with one fucking eye. You disabled, bitch. You the female Charleston White. My girl said she looked like the female Bushwick Bill. But it was funny because it was funny, but it wasn't funny. Now, what tripped me out was she had to have surgery, and what it was, her eyeball was popping out the socket, so she had to have surgery, and like she had stitches all above her eyebrow, all on her forehead, and after the surgery, it kind of made her look like this. She kind of looked like a fucking alien, you know, and she looked like that for weeks until it was time for her to move out. She used to be sitting on the porch smoking weed. I'm like, damn, you supposed to be boxing, you smoking weed. She'd be like, waving at me all mad. I'm like, God damn. So I told my girl, I was like, this bitch look like a fucking alien. My girl said she looked like a fucking Chucky doll, the bride of Chucky. So what made it even more funny was After it had healed up a little bit, she had her homegirl trying to take the bandage off because she had stitches. And so instead of going to the doctor to do the shit, her and her homegirl out on the porch, her homegirl was pulling off the damn bandage. I'm laying on the couch once again watching Locked Up Abroad, and I hear, ah, 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 ah. So I got up and I looked. It was her homegirl pulling off the bandage, and she was sitting there like, ah, ah, ah. I said, you all right? She was like, fuck off. Ah. I said, yo, man, what's up with all that screaming? Ah, fuck off. You can't make this shit up. I would post the pictures of her getting her ass getting her ass whooped. She got creamed like some cream of wheat. That's what we used to say back in the days. She got washed up. The shit was funny. Yo, I'm sorry I'm mumbling and fumbling, but I shouldn't be laughing. But the shit was funny. Yo, the shit is re-traumatizing. The shit was hilarious. So she eventually moved out with one fucking eye. And I ain't never seen no more boxing videos of her. She got some training videos, like she want to train and get back in the ring. I don't know if she permanently blind or not. I haven't seen her since. But she be on YouTube and she be on Facebook, you know, still boxing and shit, you know, still training. But after that ass whooping, I think that sent her into her early retirement. Remember in Mike Tyson Punch Out? When you get your ass beat and Little Mac be sitting there like, dun, 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 dun. They say retire or press start all over. Her ass retired. She ain't press start to start over. Her eye was fucked up. Her eye fell out of her head. Yo, all right, y'all. Yo, like, share, subscribe. It's your boy Rebo. All right, 100.